This is Rogers TV. This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details. The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers Cable or Rogers TV.
I'm Sam LaPrade. Thank you so much for joining us for Federal Election 2025. We know this election is more important than ever. We wanted to host a number of debates here on Rogers TV. Thank you so much for joining us. All of the candidates, we invited every candidate, of course, to join us today. These are the two candidates that joined us from Kanata riding. And I'd like to welcome, of course, Jenna Sudds and Jennifer Purdy. Hello. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to start with some opening statements, and Jenna Sudds, we'll start with you.
Amazing. Thank you. As you've said, this is one of the most important elections of our lifetime. President Donald Trump is a threat to our economy and to our sovereignty. There's never been a moment like this, and we need more than three-word empty slogans and conservatives who talk our country down. We need strong leaders who show up, who build us up, and who bring us together. My name is Jenna Sudds, and I'm the right person to do just that. And I believe strongly that our Prime Minister, Mark Carney, is the leader for the moment. I'm an economist, a mom of three, and someone who cares deeply about our community and every single person in it. I'm the candidate that will meet the moment. I will fight for your jobs, for your families, and for you.
Thank you. Jennifer Purdy.
Thank you. Hello et bonjour à tous. I'm a family doctor, I'm a veteran, and I'm a mother of toddlers. I grew up in Kanata. I have a degree from the Royal Military College, and my medical degree is from the University of Ottawa. I represent the Green Party and your interests. People I talk with are concerned about the affordability crisis, about the sovereignty crisis, climate crisis, and the fact that the Liberal government has been funding and supporting the Palestinian genocide. Canada must follow international law. We can protect ourselves financially through Trump's attack on our country and end up stronger together. But we must make sure we don't leave anyone behind. And the fact is, many are being left behind, and neither the Liberals nor the Conservatives have a plan to keep us all afloat. Let's change that, because better is possible, and I am ready to serve. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for those opening remarks. We have a number of questions, of course, for the candidates today. We're going to start with one that I think every single person in this riding and in this country is facing. 1 in 4 families in our region are facing food insecurity. Many families are facing the challenges of high rent or high interest rates in terms of their mortgage. The cost of living has become unbearable for many, many families, seniors, and individuals. This question is to start with Jenna. How will you tackle this mounting problem if you were to be elected?
Thank you, Sam. Well, we certainly can't control President Trump, but we can make it easier for Canadians and people in our community to weather this storm. So I looked at things like the Canada Child Benefit, a benefit that over 11,000 families in our community receive each and every month, and that we index each and every summer. I looked at things like creating more affordable $10 a day childcare spaces in our community. I hear from families each and every day how impactful this is, saving them thousands of dollars each and every year. Our government has a plan, our leader has a plan, and we're ready to get to work.
Debate.
So first point is that not everybody has children, and both of those items only affect people who have children, number one. The other thing, too, of course, is that people with children are also experiencing the affordability crisis. And a lot of people cannot get those childcare positions as well. And from what I understand from childcare providers, that the federal government, the Liberal government, has not been paying enough, and the structure is not appropriate, so that people will have to, childcare center owners will have to pay for a service, and then they will be reimbursed weeks or months afterwards. Now, these are not multi-billion-dollar corporations that can afford to float thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. So something needs to change there, number one. Number two, with regards to everybody who doesn't have children, we are in an affordability crisis already, and it is suspected that we may very well go into a recession because of Trump's attack on the Canadian economy. So we need to be looking after everyone, and not just people who qualify for EI. What about everyone who is unable to work, either because of disability or for other reasons, and what happens when the EI runs out? Right now, there's no solution from the Liberal government.
You're absolutely right, Jen, in that, of course, not everyone in our community has families, has children. Having said that, and having served as the minister in that capacity, I can tell you that there are thousands of families in our community who are benefiting from affordable childcare. Not to suggest that there's not more work to be done, because there is. We need to continue to invest so that we can see more spaces created so more families benefit. We've also put forward a 1-point decrease in middle income taxes to help with the cost of living, as undoubtedly we have seen that increase over the last few years. Having said that, I think we need to be realistic. We need to meet the moment and the threat that is Donald Trump and tariffs, and who better to reimagine our economy
Once again,
and create
the
those
Liberals
policies
are focusing
than
on
Mark
Trump. We
Carney.
need to focus on everyone. We need affordability, not austerity.
Your rebuttal starts now.
Thank you very much, Sam. We need to meet the moment that we are in. When I go to the doors in Kanata, in Bell's Corners, in Stittsville, and Carp, people are nervous. They are anxious about what is coming at us with tariffs. When I look at the slate, when I look at the leaders that we have in front of us, we have a career politician and we have an experienced leader who knows how to create strong economic policies to support Canadians.
Thank you. This is for you, Jennifer, to start. All three levels of government are concerned, obviously, with the situation in regards to housing, the lack of affordable housing. Many of the policies of the federal government dictate what the other two levels of government can do to ensure all Canadians have safe and affordable housing. Share what your party and you will do to address the housing crisis in Canada.
Yes, so it's a little bit ironic, Timer, that the situation has gone as bad as it is, and now both the Conservatives and the Liberals are crying that we have a housing crisis, when both the Liberals and the Conservatives ignored housing at a federal level for decades, right? The CMHC is within the federal governance, and it used to run and have a significant contribution to housing across the country. It was defunded decades ago, and neither subsequent Liberal and Conservative governments did nothing about that. So what we need to do is the federal government needs to get back into housing, and also we need to address things like REITs. Housing is a right. It should never be an investment or a commodity, which it is right now.
Debate starts now.
It's absolutely time to build. We have Canada's most ambitious housing plan since the Second World War. The new Liberal government will build more homes in our community and across Canada that Canadians can afford, with the most ambitious plan. We'll double the pace of housing construction to almost 500,000 new homes a year, and we'll do that, as Jen has just suggested, by getting back into the business as a government in building homes, by starting the Canada Builds Homes organization that will get us back into business. We'll also make the housing market work better by catalyzing private investment. And these measures, in addition to eliminating the goods and services tax for first-time home buyers on their first purchase of up to $1 million, will help people get back into the housing market.
But the other problem with this, though, is oftentimes the Liberal and Conservative governments are looking at developers. Developers like to make about $200 per square foot. They want to make their profits. We need truly affordable, sustainable housing. We need housing for people with mental health issues. We need wraparound housing for people who are unable to afford housing at all. So building 500,000 homes or whatever, it's lovely. It's a lofty plan. But many Canadians will not be able to afford it. And that's right now, before Trump's economic attacks on Canada takes true fruition.
So if I may, there are examples right in our community where we have made investments working with the City of Ottawa through the Housing Accelerator Fund to see affordable homes built in our community. We have a project right now underway on Kanata Avenue that has hundreds of new units that'll be on the market soon. We're also seeing, in cooperation with Ottawa Community Housing, more affordable units for seniors to be built on Penfield Avenue. There's lots of work underway. It doesn't happen overnight, but we have a plan to ensure affordable housing is built.
Rebuttal starts now.
Yes, so housing is a right, and both the Liberal and the Conservative governments have not recognized it as such for decades. In a country as wealthy as Canada, there is no reason why people should be in house. There's no reason why people should be fighting to pay their rent or their mortgage. And for people with rent, there's no rent ceilings, and many units are no longer available because of rent evictions and because of REITs. And housing is a right. It must not be an investment. And both the Liberals and Conservatives need to take this seriously.
Next question. Due to the political strife in many parts of the world, many refugees and immigrants want to reside in this beautiful country. Please share your thoughts on immigration and how Canada should deal with this important issue. We'll start with you, Jenna.
Absolutely. We need to build the capacity within our country to properly welcome immigrants to our country. A responsible government doesn't let their ego get in the way of knowing when it is time to pivot when circumstances change. When COVID hit, when the economy shut down, we needed more workers here in Canada fast to avoid a recession. But having said that, when we saw that there were bad actors and corporations that were exploiting Canada's immigration process, we shut that down and we reined immigration in. We need to make smart immigration decisions, smart policy that responds to our needs. And it's reckless for the Conservatives to think otherwise.
Thank you.
So a couple of issues with that. The fact is that the Liberal government was fully aware that there was a problem with insufficient housing and insufficient resources for immigrants. And one of the reasons why is because they cut the funding for immigrants who had newly arrived in Canada. So, for example, being able to access language training and other resources, I was assisting somebody who'd been working with the Canadian Armed Forces as an interpreter, and he had come to Canada, and he was basically on his own. He didn't have a family doctor. He didn't have even there was no social worker working with him and his family. He had three children, I believe. I only met the family once. So even before the recent announcement, by the Liberals saying that they were cutting immigration, this was an issue. You cannot just welcome immigrants into the country and then put them, just leave them to the wolves for housing and for affordability and for just being able to figure out where to buy groceries, how to buy groceries, that there's different grocery stores and that sort of thing. So we need to have much more funding for immigration. And the other thing too is I was also talking most recently to somebody who was working as a realtor who actually was a university professor. Cannot get their qualifications here. So this is a whole other piece for immigration. There are so many people who have skills and qualifications from other countries. So we also, the steps need to be made with the federal government, with the provincial governments and territorial governments as appropriate to bone that up so that people who have the qualifications, we need people with the skills and the trades and the qualifications to be able to work in Canada.
Absolutely. Jen is right. We need to have those wraparound supports to ensure that when immigrants arrive to our country, that they are well supported and set up for success, which is exactly why we made the decisions that we made just a few months back, recognizing that more needed to be done and that we couldn't properly support the influx of immigrants.
But then the Liberal
we
government
receiving.
should not be
And
cutting.
So exactly
they shouldn't be cutting, and they should
Rebuttal
grow the
starts
housing
now.
quickly.
Rebuttal starts now.
This is exactly why we've made the decisions that we've had to make. They're tough decisions. Immigrants have contributed so much to our country, and we owe it to them when they arrive here to be able to support them well, to work with other levels of government, whether that be provincial or municipal supports, to ensure that they're set up for success. This is our focus. In the moment, we need to moderate and lessen the level. However, as we get our feet under us and the supports in place, we will welcome them.
Thank you so much. I want to shift now to those local concerns in the riding of Kanata. What are the top 3 local concerns you have heard at the door during this election? What are you hearing from the people in Kanata? Jenna.
Yeah, thank you. The top issues are sovereignty and defense. And for that, clearly Trump is he represents a true economic and potentially a threat to our defense, and that needs to be taken seriously. I am the defense critic for the shadow cabinet of the Green Party of Canada, and the Green Party has a plan, basically to cancel the F-35s, which the Liberals, Prime Minister Carney, has said he's looking into, which is wonderful. We need to really rethink our defense partnerships. This is urgent, but the other thing, too, is sovereignty is a massive issue. We need to protect people. We need, affordability, not austerity. And then the other issues, of course, are the Palestinian genocide. We need to stop funding and supporting this. It's illegal under international law. And then healthcare.
Debate.
Absolutely. As I would wholeheartedly agree. When I go to the door, the number one issue that folks are raising is Trump and the looming tariffs. And people are expressing their fear, frankly, of the impacts of that. And we can't afford to sit back. I believe the question was with respect to local priorities, above and beyond, obviously fighting back for our country. One of the biggest strengths in our community is the technology park and the over 30,000 jobs in that park. I've already brought significant investments over the last 3.5 years, and I'll continue to work to secure those needed investments because those are well-paying, important jobs for people in our community. Having said that, the economy is more than just businesses, it's about people. And what I'm hearing is the need for more affordable $10 a day childcare spots in our community, more affordable housing for young people to be able to imagine starting their life in our community, and more support for seniors to ensure they can age in dignity and respect and have programs in the community that support them. And of course,
and there is a way to do this because, of course,
paramount.
When people say tariffs, they're thinking about the cost of living and how it's going to affect them as individuals. Businesses are also concerned about how they can stay afloat with the tariffs. But when we take it down to the individuals, whether they have families or not, it's all about affordability. So the problem with, we're hearing a little bit about EI tweaks. Again, if people don't have, if people are unable to work, or if they lose their job for more than 6 months, they're going to be cast adrift. They will not be able to keep up. And already so many people can't keep up. If we're talking seniors, the solution is easy. The Liberals know about this. They just don't want to do it. A basic income would make sense for everybody, like people who work at the Bay. That's a local issue, who were just laid off. And CRA apparently is doing layoffs as well. So having a basic income can keep people of all ages afloat in the affordability
Rebuttal
crisis.
starts now.
Yes. So I just discussed about the affordability crisis. The other thing, too, is it does not make sense in an affordability crisis for us to be funding a genocide which puts Canada in breach of international law. We are a peacekeeping nation. We are proud of our reputation. That reputation is at risk because we are flouting international law, and we are sending armaments, now artillery proponent, to the USA to be sent, unfortunately, to the state of Israel. So sometimes states everywhere, they need some support. They need to know what the right thing is to do. Thank you.
U.S. President Donald Trump has imposed tariffs on Canada, causing chaos in the markets, the threat of job loss for many Canadians, and overall unrest in the country. Jenna, what is your plan on how to manage this trade war with our neighbor to the south?
Mm-hmm. Well, we certainly can't control President Trump, but we can make it easier for people in our country and our community to weather this storm. Our plan to protect against these American tariffs focuses on building one Canadian economy. That means removing barriers to trade amongst and between our provinces and territories. That means cutting taxes for the middle class. That means making EI supports easier to access. It means providing new opportunities within our economy for Canadians of all stripes. We have a clear plan to fight, to protect, and build in our country?
Yeah, so regarding tax cuts, the Green Plan is actually to eliminate federal income tax on earnings under $40,000. So this is by far the most aggressive approach to tax cuts for those who need it the most amongst all the parties. And with regards to Trump and the economy, his economic attacks, well, number one is keeping individuals afloat. And the problem with tweaking EI is that it's not going to help people with disabilities who are unable to work. The Liberals seem to repeatedly ignore them. They barely passed a program a year or so ago wherein people with disabilities will be able to get $200 per month. And that's something, but that's still going to keep them living under the level of poverty. It's gross, it's inappropriate. And it's not just about people with disabilities. The problem is if the tariffs occur with these chaotic attacks from Trump, of course, the price of food is going to go up even more, and Canadians are having a hard time affording food, as well as their rent or mortgage as it is. And that's why a basic income would make the most sense to cover everyone from cradle to grave. And not everybody within that age range, of course, would get basic income, but families, individuals, to seniors who do not have a pension that can keep them afloat. This is one way to make things affordable for everyone. And then, of course, I fully agree with Jenna and the other parties as well, focusing on interprovincial trade and finding new trade partners around the world. Because of we can predict that the USA, sadly, will probably be chaotic for at least 4 years and quite possibly more. Thank you.
Debate.
I think it's important that we actually take a moment to recognize who isn't on the stage today, who wasn't willing to come here and face the public and put their plan forward to defend Canada. And that is both our Conservative candidate and the NDP candidate. I think that's really unfortunate.
Rebuttal.
As we stand here today, and as I go door to door in our community, whether I'm in Kanata, Bell's Corners, Stittsville, or Carp, the number one issue that people are sharing with me is their fear, the uncertainty that they are feeling because of what they are seeing coming from Donald Trump. As we stand here today and share our plan with you, as I share my plan with you, I think it's important to recognize those who aren't. And that is our Conservative candidate and our NDP candidate that didn't bother to show up.
Thank you. We know with all of the financial insecurity and all of the tariff talk, climate change hasn't received a lot of attention. Mm-hmm. Climate change is a top concern for Canadians. We're not hearing it as much as we normally do. What is your party looking to do to deal with environmental challenges? We'll start with Jennifer.
Yeah, thank you. So, in a way, I want people to recognize that by cutting the carbon program, 8 in 10 Canadians are actually going to lose money now, right? But it's gone. We need to come up with a plan right quick, right? Because three places across the country have burnt to the ground in the last several years. Got Fort McMurray, Lytton, and Jasper last summer, right? This is not going away. And for here in Ottawa, it might be, okay, those places are far away. We didn't have air quality warnings 2 years ago. We have them now. So what to do about this? In a way, Trump's economic attack on Canada represents a significant opportunity in that we're looking for jobs. We are looking for, keeping industries going. And what we can do is invest in green economy and retrofit the electric grid and houses across the country.
Leadership is not about digging in your heels. It's about being open to change. And a responsible government recognizes that. And that's exactly why our new Prime Minister and leader, Mark Carney, the first thing that he did was recognize the moment and the fact that carbon pricing had become too divisive in this country, and he has removed the consumer carbon pricing. Having said that, we recognize that climate change is a now problem. It's not a future problem. It's here, and we need climate action now.
Like cutting oil and gas subsidies. And the problem with that is that the Liberal government made a promise in 2015 to cut oil and gas subsidies. And they finally came out with a lukewarm prospect 2 years ago now, I believe, wherein the oil and gas subsidies continue to roll out because the loopholes in the new rule is such that everybody can get oil and gas subsidies if they want. So perhaps, if it's great that the Liberals recognize recognize climate change is real, but we need action, not words. So deeds, not words, and we need to, the first step is the one that was promised in 2015 and was not delivered, and that is to truly cut oil and gas subsidies to all those poor companies who are only making billions of dollars in net profits a year. So we need leadership, and we haven't had it.
We absolutely agree. I agree on that fact. But we have to recognize that we have a conservative opponent in Pierre Poilievre who won't even recognize that climate change is real. So while they sit on the sidelines pretending it's not real, the Liberals have a plan to protect our environment, to protect our planet, but to build a green economy.
Well, everybody who's got asthma and cardiovascular disease and has to worry about the air quality here in Canada would love to see that plan implemented before it's too late, and it's getting very close to being too late. Yeah, so climate change, the good thing is Liberals and the Greens and the NDP recognize it is a real issue. The problem is that we have had years of inaction, decades of inaction from both the Conservatives and the Liberal Party. The Liberal Party has now gotten rid of the carbon program. It needs to be replaced quickly with something that will not affect individuals, and it needs to be done so quickly, because how many more towns do we want to lose in Canada and have our kids not be able to breathe
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a wonderful debate. Thank you both for being here. As we mentioned, we did invite all candidates. These are the two that took us up on our invitation today. We have time for closing statements. We're going to start with Jennifer Purdy.
Okay. So obviously, many of us and most of us in Canada are feeling a lot of anxiety about Trump's economic attack on Canada. Being a retired major and a doctor makes me perfectly qualified to identify threats where others don't and to create solutions. Regarding the economy and finances, I see firsthand as a doctor the effects of the affordability crisis on health. So we want an MP who will protect Canada residents and not leave them twisting in the wind if the economy worsens. Canada deserves someone who will work with every MP, regardless of party, in order to get us all what we deserve, what we need, and what we are paying for with our own tax dollars. Most importantly, I am the only candidate who can say hand on heart that I will work for Canada residents, not my party. I have the qualifications and the gravitas to be your MP in this highly critical time. Please lend me your vote and vote Green. Thank you.
And Jenna Sudds.
My number one priority in this election is you and is our community. Things feel uncertain right now, and it's scary. I understand that. Maybe you're a new parent, maybe you've just moved to Canada, or you've lived here your whole life. Maybe you don't follow politics at all, but I want you to know that I am here for you. I've been a public servant, a city councillor, a member of parliament, and a cabinet minister. I know how to get things done. I've called Kanata home for almost 25 years. Kanata, Stittsville, Bell's Corners, Carp, we have an amazing community. I love our community. I love Canada, and I know that the only way to keep Canada strong is by standing together, by rolling up our sleeves, and by getting to work. And that's exactly what I plan to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much again for joining us. We know April 28th is Election Day, is such an important election in this country, and we encourage you to get out to those advanced polls and make sure your voice is known, whether it's in Kanata riding or any other riding in this region. It's an important time. I'm Sam LaPrade. Thank you so much for joining us for the federal election debates here on Rogers TV.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
Mankind must unite at this critical juncture.
And our survival is in the balance.
Mickey.
Good luck.
Multiples.
I got a job to do. They saved me, now I save them. Fire! Time to say goodbye.